Look into the eyes of an artist to determine their unique perspective. Hi, I'm Julie, your host, and today we begin with artist Mary Cassatt. Now, Mary Cassatt was known for her beautiful portraits of mothers and children, and she caught a lot of really nice intimate moments between them. Now, nowadays we do that in photographs more than paintings, but I figured out a way to sort of combine the two. So if you look at my watercolor painting here, really simplified, very stylistic, not realistic in any way. And it actually all started with this photograph. So basically what I did is I printed out the photograph in black and white. I didn't do anything fancy to it. You can even see that the contrast isn't great. And I've just put it onto a light box. And what that light box is going to allow me to do is place a piece of paper over it. And then with a pencil, I'm going to be able to just go ahead and trace any of the important areas. And I'm just going very lightly. I'm not trying to like push as hard as I can. And when that's done, I'm gonna have a little pencil sketch that looks like this. Now you'll notice I even traced the outside edge of the photograph to create a kind of frame, but I didn't worry about it being straight. Now, I'm gonna be using watercolors, and you can use any kind of watercolor that you want, but one of the tricks is to get everything wet. So I'll actually go over my watercolors with a wet brush, not worrying about contaminating the surface or anything like that. I just wanna sort of prime them and get them nice and juicy. Now it is up to me to just go ahead and paint on here. I am not using a traditional watercolor paper. This is just regular good old cover stock or cardstock. And I really like that because it absorbs the paint and the water a little bit differently. Now look how beautifully all of this blends. Now, I think it's best, in my personal opinion, if you just go ahead and sort of throw all your color in and don't worry too much about anything, because I think it's nice when the colors start to blend and to bleed. That's when it starts to get interesting to me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and color it in. Now, of course, you don't actually have to color in the whole thing. You can mix your own colors. I like to do that all the time, making things a little bit more custom. And then you can use your custom color. And you know, I'm using a huge brush for some relatively small areas. And the reason for this is because that loss of control just really, I think, makes the art a little bit more free. Now, even if I wanted to do black hair, I'm not gonna do a flat black. I think it looks a little bit better if you mix in, you may have noticed, a little bit of brown with it. I'm going over the edges. You know, I'm trying to find those places. I'm giving them kind of zombie eyes a little bit here. If you ever think with watercolor you've gone too far, you've got a magic thing called a tissue. Press the tissue, lift it up. It's gonna pull some of that paint off, which is really great. So it allows you to customize everything that you're doing. So once you are happy, do not forget that background is actually really vital to making the figures pop out. And look how all that color is just blending and oozing all over the place. And you can spend as much or as little time doing this, but I do encourage you to just sort of be free with it and don't worry, don't sweat it out in any way, you know, and let things just happen as they may. And once you're satisfied with how it's turned out, you can see you have a beautiful watercolor representation of your photograph, and that's taking a little bit of something from Mary Cassatt.